Yeah. Yeah. Shooting's out there, we like to party. Listen up, yeah, it's time to start it. And I know you got it. You with me, let's rock this party. All the girls on the side say, and all my fellas on the side say, tonight we're gonna fly high to the skies, 'cause we're gonna have a taste of the good life. Here we go, here we go, here we go up. We're gonna rock this club till it blows up. Yeah, we're gonna live a good life. Yeah, we're gonna do it all night.
Tonight, we're gonna live the good life. Alright, let's go and live the good life, the good life. Tonight, we're gonna live the good life. Alright, let's go and live the good life, the good life. Tonight, we're gonna live the good life. Alright, let's go and live the good life, the good life. Tonight, we're gonna live the good life. Alright, let's go and live the good life, the good life.
I saw you when you passed me by, girl. Listen, baby, it ain't no lie, girl. And I can't deny that your sexy little booty caught my eye, girl. Listen, you don't have to be the shy, girl. I'm not a player, no, I'm not the guy, girl. Listen, yeah, I know that we could fly up in the sky. A place we could try, girl. Yeah, you know that I've been around this time, looked up and down for some to play with. Yeah, I know I finally found you, girl. I know I found you, girl. You got me.
Tonight, we're gonna live the good life. Alright, let's go and live the good life, the good life. Tonight, we're gonna live the good life. Alright, let's go and live the good life, the good life, the good life, the good life, the good life. Let's go and live the good life, the good life, the good life. Come with me, 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 come with me. Come with me.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Nate Manahan. I'm the Director of Marketing here at PayProTec. PPT is how we refer to it. And today I want to talk to you, well, specifically, let me bring up this, how to diversify revenue streams when using high level. Now, a lot of you who may be watching this may think, why is a marketing software being discussed on a payments YouTube channel? And I promise you, if you give me 15 minutes or less, I hope to create clarity to why this is. But before we go, I want to kind of help you understand why I'm doing this, who I am, and why I think high level and payments are an important conversation. So I have been a marketing nerd now for probably 15, 20 years. I don't know exactly when I crossed over into being a marketing nerd, but I love everything that is marketing. I go to bed thinking about words like ROAS and demand marketing and product marketing. And I think about inbound marketing, and I think about anything that has to do with telling the story of businesses to the audiences that we want to reach. I love thinking about it. I love dreaming about it. I love strategizing about it. It bleeds out of my pores, let's be honest. And so I want to kind of walk you through my journey. And part of that journey is that I was trying to think about, revenue streams when it comes to marketers. And I've worked on the marketing, been the client on the marketing agency side, and I have been the agency. And I've been the director of marketing, and I've been the agency serving the director and VP and CMO of marketing. And I've worked with the large companies. Like one of the first times I ever worked as a client, I was working with a Publicis, one of the largest advertising and marketing firms in the world. But I've also been working with small and medium businesses and individual businesses that do $10,000 a month of revenue. And I've seen all different sides and revenue sides of how to build revenue as a marketer. And so anytime I use the word streams, I immediately think of Ghostbusters and don't cross the streams. But what I also think about is that there needs to be multiple streams. And so one of the things I started thinking about, and this is from Grant Cardone, is that we need to make sure that as marketers and as people that are in marketing, and this is true that people are in payments. If you're on this today and you're a paymentpreneur, we'll talk about that term here in a little bit, but you're in the payments world, you need to have multiple streams of revenue. And sometimes those streams cross, but for the most part, you want to have distinct streams of revenue that are coming in that are going to serve you for a long time. And we really want them to be recurring revenue and not just things that are made on demand, but simply things that are made on retainers or monthly, or they're going to keep coming in. Sometimes, you might hear it called passive income. And so we spend a lot of time trying to make sure and diversify how many ways we can get revenue. So as we walk into this, and I'm going to make this short. I promise not to go too long, but let me walk you through just a little bit of my journey. My journey is that I came into marketing both as a strategist, as an executive, as a dreamer, as a planner, and I've been doing this for 15 years, and I've used hundreds of pieces of software at this point. But really, what I call the Power Six are the ones that I've spent a lot of time dreaming and trying to figure out. And it started out in 2007 when I first started using Salesforce on the nonprofit side. Salesforce has an opportunity called salesforce.org that you're able to actually get a free licenses for nonprofits. And so I started using that. I was in the nonprofit world, and we were telling the story of nonprofits, and we were reaching out to donors and reaching out to vendors, and we were using Salesforce as that. And then we started using ExactTarget before ExactTarget eventually becomes Salesforce Marketing Cloud and becomes part of that. And I started using software like Constant Contact and MailChimp, and those have been the main pieces of that. And then I jumped in and also used a software called HubSpot and Drift. And those have been, as you look at those software, the important pieces of my journey. And I look at those softwares and they do a lot of things for me. They tell the story of me as a marketer. So Salesforce is the CRM, and I really focus on people. And I have a tagline that I said, just be a person. Marketing is about being people. And Salesforce helped me identify individuals and communicate as an individual. And ExactTarget allowed me to track those messages, both text messages and emails eventually. And Constant Contact was kind of jumped in there at the same time as ExactTarget because I used it with small and medium businesses. And ExactTarget, which costs thousands of dollars a month, I could get into Constant Contact for free as long as I was willing to get the little placard at the bottom. And I was using companies like MailChimp, and I loved how they branded themselves and how they created things. And obviously they've been bought by Intuit. And then when HubSpot came in, I loved the idea of inbound marketing. And I was one of the first, a couple hundred users of Drift and bringing companies. In fact, I just recently ended my journey of being working for a company that was actively using Drift. But Drift made me think about relational marketing and conversational marketing and making sure that everything I'm doing works around my plan. And I was using all of these softwares and paying thousands and thousands of dollars a month. And just in end of 2020, we came across, and this is thanks to Rob Lejeune and some of our other partners that we work with here at PayProTec, we came across a software called High Level. And that software kind of set us apart because I started looking at that software and I started saying, man, they have one piece of software that is significantly cheaper. And I fell in love with it. And I had the opportunity in 2021 to go to the Traffic and Conversions Summit in San Diego and sit down with Sean Clark. And they had a booth there. And I really totally fell in love with the concept and the principle of High Level. And if you're not familiar with High Level, if you don't have a High Level account, really what that is that you can take all these softwares, and this is directly from High Level's website, and you can funnel it down. It's going to cost $7,000, or you can have one software that's going to cost you $297, $300 a month. and you're going to have something that works together. And really what they started to do was build a revolution, not just for the end consumer, the person that the marketing is going out and on behalf of, but the marketing agency that's doing the work and saying, look, we're not going to have you go out and buy HubSpot. And I've been a HubSpot certified partner multiple times in my life, have sold HubSpot and have done that. You're not going to have to go buy Salesforce and spend $110 or more per user every time you want to add. You're going to have to add year-long commitments and all that. We're going to simplify all these software into one software, and we're going to make it usable by the small and medium businesses. And we're going to cut the cost, but we're also going to provide a revenue stream, catch that word, and we'll be talking about that multiple times, that gives you an opportunity as a marketer to make some money. And so I fell in love with that idea, and I brought High Level to PayProTec. And today you can go to app.mypayprotec.com, and that is a login where we have dozens, I don't even know exactly, I think over 40 different offices that have uses and sub-accounts on that are using it for their own sales, and PayProTec uses it. We eat our own dog food, and we do all of our own marketing, and it's become very, very important to who we are as we've gradually simplified who we are using just High Level. But what I really wanted to present today is at High Level coined a term called SaaSpreneur. And they said, hey, as marketers, and if you are here today and you're familiar with High Level, you already are selling High Level, you're part of the High Level. And I'm not trying to convince you to sell High Level. That's a whole nother conversation. So should make that clear. But if you're already part of the High Level community, you know this term, that you're not just selling your marketing as a service. You're not going out and getting retainer clients, and maybe you still are, but you're creating another revenue stream where you're becoming a SaaSpreneur, and you're making money off the software they do it, and you're setting the prices, and you are becoming a SaaS seller, software as a service, and you're becoming a SaaSpreneur. And I've loved that concept. And so as I was thinking about that a couple months ago, I said, well, really what we're trying to do is create paymentpreneurs. And what we want to do is, I believe that one of the groups of people that are untapped in understanding what it means to be a paymentpreneur are these SaaSpreneurs that are already out there. And so my goal in the next couple of minutes is just to convince you to start thinking about how, as a SaaSpreneur, if you're already there as a high-level salesperson, you may turn into a paymentpreneur. Now, if you're on that and you're a paymentpreneur, you may want to choose and also become a SaaSpreneur. And that's a different conversation than what I'm talking about today. But those are things I'll give my email at the end that I would love to have conversations and kind of help you do. But let me help you understand. My presupposition right now is that you already understand what a SaaSpreneur is. If you don't, there's lots of other education on that. There's lots of things about how High Level sells it or other ways, but it's about increasing your revenue, making sure you're getting bits of those recurring revenue that are coming in from selling SaaS, software as a service that's going to the businesses. But as a paymentpreneur, let me walk you through what that looks like for us. So I picture it this way. Every merchant, hopefully you notice what these things are, is processing payments. And on High Level today, there are over, I forget the number, but hundreds of millions of dollars that are being processed through invoices, through recurring payments, through e-commerce, and they're doing it majority through Stripe, but also through Authorize.net and MI, and now other third parties and PayPal and things like that. And so all these merchants are going out and they are collecting funds. That's their revenue for them. And every time they collect a dollar, roughly, and I'm making this simplistic just to make it as a picture here, they collect 3 pennies, okay? Those 3 pennies go off and pay a different group. So when that dollar comes in, we break up those 3 cents and the merchants get 97 cents. This is an exact science, okay? I would be glad to walk you through the exact math and how this all works. We have lots of training at mypayprotec.com that talks about interchange. But that 97 cents goes to the merchant. And then they have 3 cents that they have to pay as their fees. And those 3 cents are generally broke up that the card bands and banks are making 2 of those cents. And the PayPal and Stripe, in High Level's case, which is a majority of how most of the payments are transferred, are getting paid that penny. And you may ask yourself, here's what I know. I'm putting up coins. And you're like, I don't mess my life. I don't wake up in the morning thinking about my spare change over in my nightstand. I want to think more about dollar bills, y'all, and other larger denominations. And so you may ask yourself, hey, are we just talking about pennies? Are we talking about pennies? Tell me, are we talking about pennies? If you get the idea of the picture I put in. No, the answer is no. we are not talking about pennies, because what is true on what I've looked at as a high level is that there are thousands of merchants that are processing $100,000 a month through high level, meaning they're getting paid and they're bringing in $1.2 million of revenue to their business through using high level and using that SaaS. And what happens is, if you start calculating that out, this is the rough idea, that if they're bringing in, the merchant's bringing in $100,000 and the card brands are going to make $2,000, that's called interchange. We can go through, that's a whole nother conversation. I'm simplifying this. So all you payments people out there that may be watching and say, it's much more complicated than that. It is. I fully admit. Okay. Hey, you got me. It is more complicated than that. I'm not saying, but I'm making it simple to make the point. The point is that the question is, could you be part of making that 1K? And if you multiply that over and you're making $200 to $500 per merchant by being their SaaSpreneur, how much more could you be adding multiple streams of being able to be a paymentpreneur, a SaaSpreneur, and a marketer? And I want you to notice this very specifically. If you look left to right here, notice what I believe is the larger buckets. And I really do believe this. The larger buckets are the paymentpreneur and the SaaSpreneur side. And you're making less money on what you're doing as your marketing. And that is fine. And if I put a graph up of what may take your time, I think it's going to, your 80% of your time is going to be focused on being a marketer. And that's what I want to do. I want to spend 80% of my time thinking about marketing. But my money and how I make my money is coming from two different buckets and two different streams, and I'm diversifying my streams. And I think we're leaving a lot of those streams untapped. And high level has taught us and reminded us as marketers that we need to not only make our money by making the marketing and a little bit of markup when we do ad spend, or a little bit of markup when we do creative, or a little bit of markup when we do copyright, or maybe we get to a monthly retainer and they get 20 hours of our time a month, or whatever model you're using to make your money as a marketer. But we also need to look at other streams, and there are others out there, I'm talking about these two other main streams today. We need to be making our money in SaaS, which high level makes a great point of doing. And we need to be making our money as a paymentpreneur. And my whole idea of putting this training together today, and I've been wanting to do this for a while. So I specifically put it on, I had our team put this on the calendar, design it. I will probably recreate this, do more about it. But I was like, I need to get this out there in the world, that those are using high level and selling high level as an affiliate, or you're using high level and making it part of your agency, and you're continuing to build hundreds of businesses that are using your email marketing, your text marketing, and maybe you're doing reputation management. And on top of that, you're adding in, what else may it be? I'm thinking through all the things that high level does. It just does so many things. You're building websites. This week you can have you can have unlimited WordPress plans. All the things that high level continues to move out and grow. And Sean Clark and the team continues to make incredible strides of making the software. And you're making that money, and you're building your reputation on how high level works and how you help manage it. And then your merchants are going out and using high level, and they're using Stripe and they're using PayPal. And that could be another revenue stream for you if you're just working in the payment side. And this training really is just to pique your interest, because we're going to be putting more out, because there is a new website coming out in the next several weeks called paymentpreneur.com. We're just getting ready to launch it. And it's going to be talking about what it looks like to be a paymentpreneur and what it looks like to be in this payments industry, and maybe work with companies like PayProTec, but you don't have to. There are competitors out there. What I really want to pique our interest is that I believe there are marketers out there that are missing out on what could be, depending on what type of business you work. If you work with businesses that usually process $1,000 a month, and that's your sweet spot, payments probably in the space. But if you work with businesses that are doing $25,000 a month or more, this could be a place that's going to be the largest revenue stream that you have in your business, and you're missing out right now. And I believe most of you are getting zero. Now, some of you have jumped on, you've got relationships with NMI. They're great partners. I'm not going to name, but I've watched some people do some things in payments, and I've like, man, we're just at the top of the mountaintop. There's so much more below the water that we haven't seen. The peak and the opportunity is still there. And so as I wanted to bring this today in the live, and I don't know how many people are watching. There are a few of you watching live, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much for watching live. And I don't know if you're payments people or if you're marketers. We could put this in our PayProTec world. And if you're a payments person, you should just be aware that high-level software exists. It's one of the fastest growing softwares out there in the US. It's processing hundreds of millions of dollars here, mostly through Stripe and PayPal. And it's happening most likely in your community. And they're paying their invoices, they're paying their recurring payments, they're doing their e-commerce, and all of that's being used and managed by this software called High Level. And we're not using any of it. And if you're a marketer today, you're building all these websites, you're writing all these emails, you're building these workflows that are so intricate, and you can absolutely target down to one person, and you're getting paid, really well through a monthly SaaS fee, and probably on some of your demand gen, and maybe some of the money you're making, maybe you're on a retainer for some of your creative and other things. But you're missing out if you have merchants that are and businesses that you're working for that are processing $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month, and you're not taking a little piece of that. Somebody's going to. And the question is it going to be you, or is it going to be some of these other big companies that are taking pieces? And what we want to do is start creating that conversation. This is just a conversation starter today. So if you're interested in learning more, I just asked this. And this is a simple call to action today. It's very, very simple. I'll even bring my camera up with it. Just email me. If you're interested in learning more about High Level in any way, it's not fancy. We don't have our website ready. We're still talking. You saw we have, a rough draft of our logo. Josh, our designer, would be shocked that I used that logo. He didn't know I was throwing it on my slides already, though we're finishing it up and getting all the pieces. I just grabbed the rough draft of it and threw it up there. But we want to help SaaSpreneurs also become paymentpreneurs and take what they're making in their marketing. And we want to work together to make sure that we optimize our revenue streams and that we're making the most money we possibly can while doing the best services that we've ever seen. And I believe that what's happening is the companies like Salesforce and HubSpot and some of these giant companies, and they're innovating in different ways and they're trying to pivot but what they built themselves on is, hey, we're going to help small and medium businesses. They're going to give up on doing that. And companies like High Level, and there are other competitors out there. I use High Level because I have the experience with it. But as you are able to make money by being a SaaSpreneur, you're also going to be able to be a paymentpreneur and make money by facilitating payments. And that together with your marketing money is going to create 3 distinct revenue streams and is going to be the best opportunity for you to grow long-term. So that's my simple presentation. I'll bring up my email again in case you missed it, nmanahan@payprotec.com. And thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining live. For those who are live, I really appreciate it. If you're watching live, email me and just tell me who is watching live. I'd love to do it. It's a downside of YouTube is I don't have that. And you guys haven't jumped in and made any comments. So email me. I would love to see that. Again, thanks for watching those afterwards. Anyone email me. I'd love that. And we start a conversation. Even if you don't work with PPT, that's fine. I want to ignite a passion to be SaaSpreneurs and paymentpreneurs. 2 different streams of income for all the marketers that were here in the US and around the world. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys later. Thanks.